I'm Inwood Lane. I'm known as the Gig Geezer. I can help you maximize your gig hustle. I also need your help. Hey, hit that subscribe button. Give my content a thumbs up. Spread my content with others. And I welcome your comments in the section below. And with that, let's get into this segment of the Gig Geezer. It is the start to another work week. Today is February 7, 2022. The Gig Geezer is still hitting his numbers despite the slower gig economy conditions that we've seen for the past several weeks. I am still averaging $200 or more a day each day that I'm out here doing my gig hustle. I am still hitting with regularity $1,400 a week. And with some regularity, I am still making $6,000 or more doing the gig hustle. Now, my main means of achieving these numbers is by multi-apping. And you're going to hear me talk more about multi-apping as I go through this segment. Now, my sharing those numbers right up front is not to brag or boast. It is not to discourage anyone either. Actually, it's really to serve as some encouragement that it can be done despite these slower conditions that are out here. I also want to share that my numbers do come with some struggle. It comes with a lot of grind putting in, and it comes with some unfortunate situations as well. I am not immune to the things that many of you who may be checking out this segment of the Gig Geezer or other people's channels. Now, what are some of the things that I'm not immune to? Well, I am not really at full strength with Instacart, one of the 6 main apps that I use. The other main apps are DoorDash, GrubHub, ubereats, Bite Squad, and Roadie. No, I've not been up to full speed with Instacart for the past couple of weeks. The reason being, my rating is down to a 4.75, thanks to some unsatisfied customers who feel that they can trash a driver whenever they don't get everything that they are requesting in their order. So, what I've noticed though is that with Instacart, while we all would like to get those big orders, and supposedly those big orders come when once your ratings reach a certain threshold, I noticed that I got a lot bigger orders for this market of bigger orders, those that are $40 or more. I saw more of those orders, and I saw a more consistent flow of orders on my phone when my rating was 4.90 or higher. Since it's been below that, I've had to just wait until something comes along, and that my reflexes are still fast enough to swipe and catch them. It's that simple. The other thing that I've not been immune to out here in the slower times is really the slower volume of orders that are coming through, particularly the slower volume of orders that I would accept. I have seen stretches as long as 55 minutes in which I didn't see a single order. In fact, last night, February 6th, I didn't see an order for the last 45 minutes that I was out there. So, that's another thing. Another factor is something that I've mentioned even in much more fluid times is when orders that fail to materialize. I don't see as many people canceling their orders, but I do have to back out of orders myself because of whatever reason. It could be because a restaurant is taking too long as I'm trying to stack orders across multiple apps. It could be that I accepted an order in error, and when I realized where it was going, I had to get rid of it. Those are typically the reasons why orders tend to fail to materialize for me. It could be too that there's app issues and I lose the order outright. But those are some of the main things that I deal with, or I have dealt with, even in these slower gig economy times. Now, having said all that, what I want to tell you, first of all, in order to even put yourself in a position to make anything close to what I make, or maybe what some other folk other folks' channels that you're checking out, one thing I will tell you is that you can't be thirsty. I have come out and given different takes, different angles about thirstiness out here in the gig economy. I've said that it has no place in the gig economy. I have said the W-2 mentality has no place in the gig economy. But I'm just going to say it again. Being thirsty you can't be thirsty. What is being thirsty? By definition, again, being thirsty is when you accept anything and everything just for the sake of saying that you got something. And you have people out there that just accept orders because, hey, it's kind of for fun for them. It's just extra money. They don't care. No big deal. But if you're out here to make money, if you're out here to improve your personal financial situation, or to maintain your personal financial situation, or if you have serious needs that need to be met, you can't, I'm going to put it like this, you can't average $200 a day accepting $2.50 orders, $4 orders, stacked orders for $4.50, or for $10, or for $6. You can't make that type of money. You can't hit six G's in a month accepting those type of orders. It's not going to work. You're going to run yourself in the ground if you accept all of them by averaging 18 hours a day. Now, hey, you may be able to do it. The gig geezers don't put in those type of hours, even in these slower economic times. By the way, I used to say that I put in 7 to 7.5 hours a day. That number is more like about 7.5 to 8 hours. And I've shared that before. The reason being, I've noticed in my market, my first half hustle is the slowest of the two. And so it takes me anywhere between 3.5 to 4 hours. I can still pretty much hit my numbers in the evening hustle, putting in 3.5 hours. Most times about 3.5 hours. So I'm not hitting it $30 an hour for the entire day. I do hit it from time to time in individual hustles, or I hit it most of the time in individual hustles, I should say. But averaging it, no, not right now. But again, hopefully I'm encouraging you that it can be done. Hopefully I'm encouraging you that, yes, if you employ some of the things that I'm suggesting, some of the things that I'm sharing in this segment of the Gig Geezer, you can too put yourself in a position, at the very least, to thrive. Now, I'm starting with being thirsty. The reason I'm really harping on being thirsty is because these algorithms count on your thirst. It's that simple. These companies are also tech companies, so they understand what your tendencies are. And so I remember recently I ran into a lady who's more of my demographic, chronologically, that is. She's old like me, in other words. I happened to mention her, it's been pretty slow out here today. And she's like, oh no, I've been busy. I said, really? And she goes, oh yeah, I had a couple of $2.50 orders, a $4 order, and I'm on this $7 order. And then I kind of called her and I showed her this, what's on my Gridwise app. And I think that's a good app to use in terms of trying to keep up with your numbers. I just use it for my numbers. But anyway, I showed her where in recent weeks where I've made $1,300, $1,400 at a time. I'm like, you see these numbers? Do you think I'm making these numbers accepting $2 orders? Do you think I'm making these numbers accepting $4 orders, $6 orders, or even $7 orders all the time? And she's like, no. And that's my point. You don't have to accept all those orders. Get that out your mind. You don't have to maintain a 100% acceptance rate in order to make money. No. Some people say that they can do it maintaining 70. Good for you. Maybe your market allows for that. But in this market, No. And that's from my experience. But anyway, another thing that I will share with you that I've noticed, particularly in these slower times, and it's actually, it could be in just all times though, but in slower times, go where the money is leading you. In other words, be willing to think outside of your box. Be willing to work outside of your box. Be willing to work outside of your comfort area, which may be the area, the zones that you normally work. What I can say is that I go into each day with a certain plan, in that I'm looking to work certain areas based on what I felt, what I've seen from the previous day. And sometimes my instincts say, hey, you need to start here or there. And what happens is, I'll get an order for a decent amount that I'll accept, but it's not taking me where I want to go. But eventually what I try to do is get to the area that I'm going to work, because 9 times out of 10, that is the area that's going to make the money for me. But be willing to take that money that you can get. I mean, hey, if you got a $14 order that's taking you in the opposite direction where you want to go, take the order. And then if you can connect the dots with another order, hey, great for you. I mean, I've had days in which I've worked the entire segment, the entire hustle, in the opposite direction where I wanted to go, but that's where the money was. So keep that in mind. Another thing that I often share in my segments of the Gig Teaser is to stick to your process. Now, I've kind of spoken to some components of sticking to your process already. One of them is your order selection. Another is sometimes listening to your instincts, trusting your instincts. Now, another thing that's a part of sticking to your process is don't panic. These slower times will force you to panic and get thirsty, and that's kind of what these algorithms are looking for you to do. I mean, the only one. I mean, it's on you. I mean, you are your own business person. You are an independent contractor. It's on you how you're gonna make it work. Either you're gonna make your money or you're not gonna make your money. Or you can get close to it or not. But that's on you. You also have to have the right attitude. And what I mean by the right attitude is sometimes coming out with the wrong attitude, being bent out of shape, or getting bent out of shape while you're out here, that can just pretty much kill your day. Now, I will say on the flip side, not even on the flip side, I will say concomitantly. I used that word before, but I'm going to use it again. Similarly, simultaneously, along those lines, that's what it means. One order, know this, one order can really make your day good or bad. One order can really kill your momentum, or one order can really turn your day around or put you on the right path where you like to be. I can share with you how yesterday, February 6th, how one order really killed my momentum. And very quickly, here's what happened. I'm about an hour and a half into my evening hustle. I've already made about $53. I accepted a 13-item order that offered $8.25 at a place downtown that is known to where you have to spend some money. Now, most people will tell you that's an order to jump on, because there's more than likely a 90% chance that it's going to be more money on that order. It is what you call that unicorn, that hidden tip that DoorDash is so notorious for. Well, I completed the order, but while I'm driving to that drop-off place, I looked ahead at the delivery address, and I delivered there before. Now I'm a bit concerned, because I recall that those people don't tip too well, despite the fact that they live in a nice house. They got a Lexus SUV, a pickup truck similar to mine, and then a D-frame family car. That's another thing, a D-frame, but something like a Ford Taurus, Chevy Impala, somewhere along there. The tab of the order was $144. You might add another $10, $11 in DoorDash and taxes. And that order paid all of $8.25. I was livid. I was on steam last night. Now, my initial reaction was that I wanted to vandalize their property, because I knew that order really would have put me in a position for a pretty decent hustle. I'm thinking that at the worst, that order's going to pay. I'm thinking at worst, the order's going to pay anywhere between $18 and $20 at the worst. Typically, orders like that are going to pay that much. Well, I was wrong. And that order really had me scrambling for the rest of the evening. The only thing, the one saving grace for me was that I had accepted a Uber Eats order for $9, about 8-10 minutes away from that drop-off location. And so I ended up going into the second hour at $63, somewhere about $63. And then I limped for the rest of the way. I got 4 more Uber Eats orders, and I finished the second half hustle at $94. And for the entire day, I staggered across the finish line at $181. I was expecting to top $200 yesterday. Yeah, and even then, today, February 7th, during this first half hustle, same place, same restaurant downtown, and I'm going to tell you, similar result. It was a 17-item order. $9.25 was the offer. On that receipt, it was $120 plus. I delivered to that place before. It is a skin dermatology place. Typically, their tips are not that great, but you would think that with 17 items, that order should pay at the worst, even for those people, $15. Order paid $13. I'm not gonna say that order killed my momentum, but it certainly changed the complexion, the flow of the way things went. And I ended up finishing this hustle right at $90. And it took me 4 hours to get to $90. If that order paid the way it should have, I'd probably be right at about $100 after 3.5 hours. And that'd be a typical gig geezer hustle. So, again, you have to have the right attitude. And for me, in those situations, while I'm fuming, I know I still have to come out and make money. I still have to go. I know I still have to make money, and I can't let it stop me. And so that's what I'm getting at, having the right attitude. Now, this is not for clickbait, okay? But I would like to know what some of these people are making now. Those people who are showing how I guess it's easy to make $250 in a day, $300 in a day, $400 in a day, $2,500, $3,000 in a week. I'd like to know what they're making now. I have shown consistently how I've made $200 a day, $1,400 a week, 6 G's in a month. I think the mark of a true hustle is what you do when things aren't going as great as they are when you upload your videos. That's why I like some other people's channels, because they show the good and the bad. They share how days are debacles. They also share how days are really great. I think those are the people that you need to check out. I think those are the people that you need to check out because they give you a realistic picture of what it's like out there. People ask me, what type of money can you make doing DoorDash and Uber Eats and all these? I'm like, well, I've been able to take care of certain things, namely my daughter. I've been able to help her get through undergrad, her master's program, and now she's in her second semester of working towards her doctorate program. So that should give you an idea of what I've been able to do. But the main thing is that you have to treat this as a business. I think even in these slower times, that is the main thing. You have to treat this as a business. You have to make sound business-like decisions. And so those people who may tell you how this is the way you do it to make that type of money, there's a good chance here's what some share and maybe what some don't share, is that if you're making that type of money, every now and then you can do it in 10 hours. I mean, I've hit those numbers in like 5 and 6 hours. Namely, when I made $330 back in September, I did it in about 6 hours. A few dominoes fell the right way. My best day is $376. I did that in 8 hours. I have shown how I've made $50 an hour individual hustles, and even then, the dominoes had to fall right. I've made a lot of $40 an hour hustles. $30 an hour hustles are the norm for me. But the thing is, consider the source. And again, don't get so caught up in what they do, because that's on the top end. Look for something in the middle, the mean, the average, because a lot of times that's what you're going to end up doing in these times and in most times. And with that, this is another segment of the Gig Geezer. I'm in Wood Lane, and as always, Thank you for checking out this segment of the Gig Geezer. If you reach this point, it means that you've checked it out in its entirety, and it's very much appreciated, and it tells YouTube that you're very much engaged in my content. Hey, if you'd like to get in contact with me or pass on some other useful information, I can be reached at giggeezer3.5@gmail.com, or you can check me out on Twitter at giggeezer.